ought to eat your cornbread.
Oh, mother, you can't have my cornbread. That's for sure.
Eddie Murphy pitched the whole movie between takes on a different set. It became his last R-rated film for 20 years. Martin Lawrence's accident made Murphy laugh so hard they kept it in the film. Rick James's limp? Real. Two comedians, a Mississippi prison, and one of the most beloved comedies of the 90s. These are 12 weird facts about life. And the bonus? A Hollywood legend filmed a scene. They got cut, but it still exists. You've just never seen it. Now, let's head down south.
Number 1. Eddie Murphy pitched the movie on a different set. The idea came to Eddie Murphy while he was becoming someone else. He was on the set of The Nutty Professor in 1996, covered in prosthetics, playing multiple characters, watching the magic of transformation happen in real time. And somewhere between takes, he pitched producer Brian Grazer a completely different movie. Two guys from New York, wrongfully convicted in the Jim Crow South, spending their entire lives in prison together, growing old behind bars. A comedy that was also a tragedy, a buddy movie stretched across 6 decades. Grazer listened. He liked it. And just like that, a deal was made. Life became the first film in a 2-picture agreement between Murphy and Imagine Entertainment. The second film in that deal? Both released in 1999, both passion projects Murphy had been carrying around in his head for years. Brian Grazer and Ron Howard's Imagine Entertainment produced. Universal wrote the checks. The budget landed at $75 million. For a comedy with no explosions and no special effects beyond aging makeup, that was serious money. But Murphy had earned that kind of trust. He was box office gold when he wanted to be. He pitched a movie between camera setups, and Hollywood said yes without hesitation. Number 2. Murphy and Lawrence's second reunion. This wasn't their first time together. Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence had history. 7 years earlier, they shared the screen in Boomerang. That was 1992. Murphy was the undisputed star. Lawrence was the rising comic getting his shot, the sidekick looking for a breakout moment. The power dynamic was clear to everyone on set. By 1999, everything had shifted. Martin Lawrence had become Martin Lawrence. The sitcom Martin made him a household name. 5 seasons of proving he could carry a show by himself. Bad Boys turned him into a movie star. Suddenly, he was opening films alongside Will Smith. Big Mama's House was about to cement his box office power even further. He wasn't the newcomer anymore. He wasn't the sidekick. He was the co-lead. Life reunited them as equals. 2 comedy giants at the peak of their powers, both capable of carrying a film alone, both choosing to share the screen instead. The chemistry they built in Boomerang had 7 years to mature, and when cameras rolled on Life, it showed. Murphy and Lawrence didn't compete for laughs. They passed them back and forth like old friends. Because by then, that's exactly what they were. Number 3. Eddie Murphy's last R-rated movie for 20 years.
And I really made myself stop laughing. Like, I don't laugh like that anymore.
Life was the end of an era. After this film, Eddie Murphy walked away from adult comedy completely. He wouldn't make another R-rated movie for 2 full decades, 20 years of family-friendly content before he returned to his roots. The shift had already started. The Nutty Professor in 1996 proved Murphy could dominate the family market. Dr. Dolittle followed. Then came Shrek, Daddy Daycare, The Haunted Mansion, Norvid, a parade of PG and PG-13 films that made hundreds of millions but frustrated fans who remembered Raw, who remembered 48 Hours, who remembered the Eddie Murphy that cursed and pushed boundaries and made adults laugh until they cried. Life was his last stand in that world, his final R-rated performance before the long hibernation, and it stayed that way until 2019. Dolomite Is My Name finally brought him back. 20 years between adult comedies. An entire generation grew up only knowing the family-friendly version, but Life captured the original Eddie Murphy, the one who wasn't afraid of an edge, the one who could make you laugh and break your heart in the same scene, the one his oldest fans missed. Number 4. Oscar-nominated makeup by Rick Baker. The film spans 65 years. Ray and Claude arrive at the prison as young men in 1932. They're still there in 1997, old, gray, weathered by decades of incarceration. Making that transformation believable required the best in the business. Rick Baker answered the call.
Baker was already a legend. He'd won Oscars, he'd created iconic movie monsters, and he'd worked with Eddie Murphy multiple times before. The Nutty Professor, Coming to America. But those collaborations had something in common. Murphy always played multiple characters. Fat suits, alien makeup, old Jewish men in barbershops. Murphy loved disappearing into different people. It was his signature move. Life broke that pattern. For the first and only time in their collaborations, Baker didn't create multiple Murphys. He only aged one. No wigs for different characters. No fat suits for comic effect. Just Ray Gibson getting older, decade by decade. It was the most restrained work they ever did together, and it earned an Oscar nomination for Best Makeup at the 72nd Academy Awards. Sometimes less really is more.
Number 5. The film became a cult classic. Life was supposed to be bigger. The budget was $75 million. The studio expected a blockbuster. What they got was $73 million at the box office. Barely broke even. By Hollywood math, that's a disappointment. Critics were mixed. Rotten Tomatoes sits at 50%. Some reviewers appreciated the ambition. Others thought the comedy and drama didn't blend. The reception was lukewarm at best. Then something happened. People kept watching. VHS rentals stayed strong. Cable television put it in rotation. TBS played it constantly throughout the 2000s. A new generation discovered it. Then another generation after that. Entertainment Weekly eventually classified it as one of Eddie Murphy's best films. The cornbread scene became a meme before memes had a name. People quote it at dinner tables. They reference it in arguments. 25 years later, Life has outlived its initial reception. The cult found it, and they never let go.
Number 6. Rick James' limp was real.
Hey, Spank, wait a second. Hold on, wait a second. Look.
Rick James appears early in the film. He plays Spanky, the Harlem nightclub owner who sends Ray and Claude on the bootlegging run that destroys their lives. It's a small role, a few scenes, but James leaves an impression, partly because of his presence, partly because of his limp. That limp wasn't acting. Rick James had just undergone hip replacement surgery before filming. He was still recovering when he showed up on set. The pain was real. The limited mobility was real. And rather than hide it, he incorporated it into the character. Spanky became a club owner with a limp. Nobody questioned it. It actually added to the character's menace, made him feel more lived in, more dangerous. James committed to the performance despite his physical condition. He wasn't going to let surgery keep him from working. He showed up, he delivered his lines, he made Spanky memorable in limited screen time. The limp that audiences assumed was a character choice was actually a window into what the funk legend was dealing with behind the scenes. Most viewers never knew. They just saw a convincing performance from a music icon trying his hand at acting. Number 7. Martin Lawrence's improvised accident stayed in the film. Some of the best moments in movies aren't planned. They just happen, and smart directors know when to keep rolling. There's a scene where Ray and Claude are standing on a crate of bottles. Tense moment, serious conversation. Then Claude mentions that one of his toes slipped into a bottle. It sounds like a scripted joke, something the writers added for levity. It wasn't. Martin Lawrence's toe actually slipped into a bottle during the take. Real accident, real surprise. But Lawrence didn't break character. He didn't call for a cut. He kept going, acknowledged it in the scene and pushed forward. Eddie Murphy's reaction? That laugh was genuine. He wasn't acting. He was watching his co-star handle an unexpected moment like a professional. You can see it in his face. Director Ted Demme recognized what he had. He kept the take. The accident became part of the movie, a genuine moment of surprise that audiences would never know wasn't scripted. That's the difference between good actors and great ones. Great ones turn accidents into art. They don't panic, they adapt. Lawrence proved he belonged on that set with one slipped toe. Number 8. The Harlem Nights Easter egg. Eddie Murphy loves a callback. He loves rewarding fans who followed his career. And buried in life is a reference that only true Murphy devotees would catch. During the fight scene in the prison yard, Ray is getting destroyed. Goldmouth is beating him badly. Ray's outmatched, outweighed, completely overwhelmed. And in the middle of taking punches, Ray yells out a specific line. He says he knows a woman named Della who hits harder than his opponent. Della, that name means something. 10 years earlier, Murphy starred in Harlem Nights. He directed it himself. In that film, his character gets into a brutal fight with a madam played by Della Reese. The fight is legendary. Della Reese beats Murphy's character badly, throws him around, humiliates him completely. It's one of the most memorable scenes in the movie. Fans still talk about it decades later. So when Ray references Della in Life, it's Murphy winking at his own history, a self-deprecating joke about losing a fight to a woman in a previous film. Most audiences missed it completely, but the ones who caught it appreciated the attention to detail. Murphy wasn't just making a new movie, he was connecting it to his legacy, building a universe of callbacks that rewarded loyalty. That's the kind of detail that separates good movies from ones people remember forever. Quick pause. This is a film that turned prison into comedy without losing its heart. If you want more deep dives into movies that broke the rules, hit that subscribe button. Now, let's talk about what happened behind the scenes.
Number 9. The diner scene was originally reversed.
How come we didn't see that sign that say no colors allowed, Chloe? We just rushed in, we were really hungry, so we kind of missed that. But
One of the film's most memorable early scenes takes place in a Mississippi diner. Ray and Claude walk in. White customers stare. The tension is immediate. Then comes the confrontation over pie. White-only pie. The scene establishes everything about the Jim Crow South in under 2 minutes. But it almost played completely differently. According to the DVD commentary, the original plan had the roles reversed. Eddie Murphy Ray was supposed to be the angry one. He was supposed to confront the racism head-on, demand respect, push back against the humiliation. They flipped it. Martin Lawrence's Claude became the hothead. Ray became the smooth talker, the one trying to keep the peace, the one who knew when to pick his battles. That single change defined their entire dynamic for the rest of the film. Claude runs hot, Ray plays it cool. Claude wants to fight, Ray wants to survive. The reversal in that diner scene created the foundation for every conflict and every laugh that followed. One creative decision, 2 completely different characters.
Number 10. The cast included future stars before they blew up. Look at the credits for Life, and you'll see names that mean nothing in 1999. Names that would mean everything a few years later. Anthony Anderson plays Cookie, the inmate who handles the kitchen. It's a supporting role, solid screen time, but not a lead. Here's the thing. This was Anthony Anderson's feature film debut, his first movie ever. Nobody knew who he was. Blackish was 15 years away. His Emmy nominations hadn't happened yet. Law and Order wasn't even a thought. He was just a young comedian getting his first shot on a big movie set. Sanaa Lathan appears as Daisy, Claude's girlfriend who eventually leaves him for his cousin. Small role, easy to forget, but 1 year later, she starred in Love and Basketball. That film made her a leading lady. Suddenly everyone knew her name. But in 1999, she was just another face in the ensemble. Both became major Hollywood names within a few years of this film. Life didn't make them stars, but it put them on screen before stardom found them. Number 11. The Murphy and Lawrence families united decades later.
Well, they just got married a few months ago, so we have yet to see how it's going to all blend together, but I think it's going to be cool.
The friendship between Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence lasted beyond the movie. Way beyond. 22 years beyond, in fact. In 2021, news broke that their children were dating. Eric Murphy, Eddie's son, and Jasmine Lawrence, Martin's daughter. They went public in June. Social media lost its mind. The Life co-stars were now connected by more than a movie. Their families had merged in a way nobody predicted. Eric and Jasmine became one of the most followed couples online. Every post got attention. Every appearance made headlines. The children of 2 comedy legends finding love with each other felt like a movie itself. A sequel nobody wrote, but everyone wanted to watch. Number 12. The soundtrack was a massive hit. The movie is set in the 1930s through the 1990s. The soundtrack ignored all of that. Rockland Records and Interscope released it on March 16, 1999, a month before the film opened. Pure late 90s R&B and hip-hop, not a single period-appropriate song. R. Kelly produced almost the entire album, 10 tracks, his fingerprints everywhere. Wyclef handled the rest, 5 tracks with his signature eclectic style. 2 of the biggest names in music at the time collaborating on one soundtrack. The results spoke for themselves. The album hit number 10 on the Billboard 200, number 2 on the top R&B hip-hop albums chart. Maxwell's Fortunate peaked at number 4 on the Hot 100. The soundtrack went platinum by June. Certified. Official. The track list reads like a who's who of late 90s talent. Destiny's Child, DJ Quick, Exhibit, Ja Rule, Juvenile, Brian McKnight, Maya. The movie might have underperformed, the music didn't. Bonus fact: a Legends lost scene. Sicily Tyson filmed a scene for Life. It never made the final cut, but it wasn't lost forever. Footage of the iconic actress appears in the music video for Kelly Price's It's Gonna Rain from the film's soundtrack. Tyson was already a living legend by 1999, an Oscar nominee for Sounder, an Emmy winner for the autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman, a trailblazer who refused roles that demeaned Black women throughout her entire career. Her presence in Life would have added even more gravitas to an already stacked cast. Instead, her contribution exists only in fragments, a deleted scene preserved in a music video, a glimpse of what could have been. Tyson passed away in January 2021 at 96 years old. 2 days before her death, she published her memoir. The title said everything about how she lived. Just as I am. Her scene in Life may have been cut, but her legacy, that stayed intact for 7 decades. Life was supposed to be a modest hit. It became something more. A film that aged better than anyone expected. A showcase for 2 legends at their peak. A launchpad for future stars who didn't know it yet. And eventually a bridge between 2 families. Some movies fade. This one grew. That's the real legacy. Not the box office, not the reviews. The fact that people are still talking about it, still quoting it, still pressing play.